So before you start watching this video, I want you to watch my Aston Martin DIY GT3 build, where I made a custom hub for the Thrustmaster T150 Pro. Because it does not support wheel switching, which means you cannot use different wheels from Thrustmaster to fit in the T150 Pro. With this custom hub, you can use any wheel you want, and of course, it has to be made by you. The hub has 2 gear shifters along with 2 other shifters for different purposes, which you can assign it in the game settings. To even simplify things, I have used a USB joystick encoder, which is a very simple tool to use. So on that hub, I fitted the McLaren GT3 wheel. Now if you want, you can use the Arduino instead of the joystick encoder, and there is a separate video for the Thrustmaster T1000 video, where I showed complete step-by-step guide and how you can use the encoder with the 32 button function. Links will be down in the description below, along with the I button above. To make this, you will need a few things. First, you will need a plywood. Then, you will need a jigsaw to cut the plywood, a drilling machine, an OLED display, 8 push buttons, 2 flick switch, 1 rotary encoder knob, and 5 encoders, 1 Arduino Pro Micro and Arduino Nano. First, we will cut the plywood as per the template. After it's cut, it should look like this. It is very essential to temporarily fix the steering wheel onto the custom hub and mark the holes for buttons, switch and encoders. Now make sure to insert the buttons in the holes and also insert the flick switch just to see if it's properly being fixed. Now we will fix both the pieces with wood glue. The whole purpose of fixing both the pieces is to provide additional strength. Now it's time to cut the handlebars. It should look like this. And make sure to mark the handlebars. And now it's time for a drink. Well, our work is almost done. Now we have to wrap those handlebars. But before wrapping, make sure to color the edges of the steering wheel and also the handlebars with black paint. So I have already wrapped the handlebars. I have wrapped it with carbon fiber vinyl, and these are 4 handlebars. I have also mentioned the handlebar as left T. LT means left top, RB means right bottom, so don't forget to mark these. And I made a major change in the wheel. Earlier my wheel was planned for 10 buttons and 5 encoders. This is encoder number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is okay, but I have seen in the original wheel that there are 2 flick switch buttons just like these. Okay, so I have already drilled here the holes 12 mm. So now I had to make this one fit over here. So what I did was, after cutting the wheel, I usually never throw away the sawdust. If you are cutting something from wood, never throw the sawdust which you are getting accumulated while cutting with the jigsaw. So I've used the sawdust and I've mixed some wood glue. This is Fevicol. This is very popular in India. So I've mixed all those together and filled these 2 holes, and just fill here and let it dry for like 24 hours. It will take some time. So if you keep it in the sun, the drying time will be reduced by half, let's say 12 hours. So once it's dried, again drill a hole just like I did here. You can see here it's very rough, but again this is the back side. No one is going to notice what's there in the back side. This is the front side. Again, it's not looking good, but again I'll wrap it up with the vinyl, carbon fiber vinyl, so it won't make any difference. And now it's fitting perfectly fine. It's going in and it's fitting. I will fit it from the outside, so you will see here. So this is a flick switch, so it will actually looks cool. So so now my configuration will be like 4 buttons, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, total 8 buttons, 4 left 4 right, and then 5 encoders, 1 2 3 4 5, and there will be one OLED display, which will, again, you will see here. Okay, there it is. So this is my OLED display. Show you here. This is the display, and to connect it from the back side, it's very easy to configure. I'll show you that in the video also. So stay tuned. Now the time has come to wrap the steering wheel itself. So after making the holes and cutting out the holes, I am now fixing the buttons just to make sure everything is working. And now the next step will be to fixing the handlebars. The handlebars are fixed using wood glue, but you can also use super glue, but I will not recommend it because after some time it might come off. But with wood glue it will never come off. To make the wheel look even more cool, I have decided to add some stickers which glows in the dark, especially in UV light. The OLED display has 4 holes in the corner, which means you can use 4 screws to fix the display. But here in this case, I will use only 2 screws because the display is very light and 2 screws is more than sufficient to fix the display. Now it's time to fix the buttons, encoders and flick switch. Now if you want to know how to connect the buttons and encoders, then please watch the video in the I button above. Now we will remove the old wheel and fix the new wheel. Now see, there are 4 wires. Now let me remove those wires, and you see the first one, the white one, is for the SDA. The black one, then the next one is for the SCK, which is the clock. Then we have the purple wire, which is the VCC or the 5 volt to power on the OLED display, and the last one we have the gray wire, which is the ground. That's all. That's very simple to connect the OLED display. Now regarding the flick switch, you see here on the flick switch there are 3 points. The center point is the ground point. I hope you can clearly see it. So connect any terminal to the ground point, and then the switch's functionality will depend on which point you will connect the next point. So if I connect on the first one here, then you see if it's on the top, it means it's on, and if I pull it down, it means it's off. And again, if I remove it and connect it on the bottom side, it means the bottom side will be the on. If I turn it on and then if I pull it up, then it will be turned off. Now this is the schematic diagram to connect Arduino Nano with the OLED display. Here I used white wire for pin number A4, which is the SDA, and a black wire for pin A5, which is the clock CLK. I have used a purple wire for the 5 volt or the VCC and a grey wire for ground. Now to configure multiple Arduinos in SimHub, you have to go to Arduino and plug in the device which you need to configure. So here only single Arduino settings is showing only one device, which means you cannot use two devices. For example, I want my OLED display on my steering wheel, and I also want the TM1637, 1638 or the WS2812 5050 LED for the yellow flag spotter, for the gear shift indicator. So if you want all of this to work with different Arduinos, then there is a workaround. So for that you have to open the Arduino setup tool, and here it's selected single Arduino. Click on multiple Arduinos. It's showing multiple Arduino. It's showing not connected. Now select open Arduino setup tool and select multiple Arduinos. It's showing work in progress. We'll start from scratch. So first we'll start with the OLED display. We will go to SimHub dash and we will rename it to OLED. And this is very important because if you don't rename it, you will get confused which one is which. So I will just select OLED and I will head down to the bottom, and before that go to your old bootloader. Whether it's a new or old bootloader, you will come to know. If it's a Chinese one, then definitely old bootloader, and if it's a new one, it's a genuine one, then definitely you select new bootloader and select the COM. Which COM is which? So Arduino Uno is different, and the one which this board is actually Arduino CS340, which is the Arduino Nano. And you go down to find the OLED display. This is the OLED display. Just click on. These two pins, remember, SDA is 18 and SCK is 19, which is basically the A4 A5. A is basically the analog series and D is basically the data series or the digital series. So click on I understand, click on upload. So this process might take some time. So upload completed. Now click on OK. So now as you can see, the OLED display is working along with the yellow flag spotter on the left, and I'm also using my iPad to monitor my tire temperatures, my brake temperatures with dash panel. So till then, enjoy the gameplay. It's completely dark, can't see anything. The guy above, I made a mistake. The Audi just went past me. Come on, nearly losing grip. First lap done. Let's see how far can we push this car. First lap done. Let's see how far can we push this car. Oh boy, just losing it. Let's see how bad it goes. Got the inner line, inner line, inner line. Oh, just pushed him. Okay, nearly survived that. Had the edge. Lap number 2 done. Got the inner line. Almost there. Now let's see, 242, let's see how far can we push this car. Tell me guys, how do you feel about the whole steering wheel? It's all DIY. There's one more McLaren. I think the McLaren's top end is not that much compared to the Metal Moro and other Porsche. The Mercedes is very much impossible to beat. See, I can easily follow the McLaren, but the other cars are nearly impossible to follow. Maybe because of the speed. Oh boy, the car was in the air for some time. The BMW has the maximum speed, I guess. This is not a good place to overtake. The race is almost over. Wow. There we are. Soon enough. See all the cars. They're going in a line. Let's see who has maximum speed. 260. 268. No one's behind me. Even slipstream doesn't seem to work like that. Okay, now it's working. We're actually closing in. 275. That's the limiter. 276. Is that a limiter? I can't get past. Of what I can see is that BMW has the maximum potential for the speed. But that's only a one lap race. Just a quick demo of the whole steering wheel. Okay then. There we are. Race over.